It is Wednesday the 17th of July 2024 and this is the end of a Kaju and Roo class. Something I'd like to talk about, I'll try and keep this brief because I know some of you have got very poor attention spans these days. Very contentious subject in martial arts, knife defence. Why is knife defence contentious? There are some people out there, so firstly knife defence, look, it's really important that we learn it. Knife attacks are a very genuine thing that do happen. It's important, if we're going to do pragmatic martial arts, that we address it. Why is it contentious? There are some people out there who do some great work with edged weapon defence, and they are worth seeking out and learning from. There's also a lot of questionable methods out there, and this can be the problem. Now, my personal take on martial arts, there's something in martial arts for everybody. And if you're going to do reality-based martial arts, it's important that you take it seriously. But there's more to martial arts than reality. A lot more. Frankly, if there's something in your life that you do that makes you smile, that's the value, right? And it doesn't matter whether that's jiu-jitsu, karate, taekwondo, eskrima, train spotting, stamp collecting, netball, football, it doesn't matter. If it makes you smile, that's the value. Okay? Not everything has to be practical. And I certainly do martial arts that aren't practical. And it makes me smile, and that's why I do it. And I defend anybody that does that. As long as, now this is the important bit, as long as we can put these very distinct lines in as to what's reality-based stuff and sport stuff, and then stuff that's an art form, a form of practice. It's important that we get those lines down. And the problem, I think, is that too many martial arts blur those lines, or at least they are dishonest over those lines. And they will claim that what they're doing is practical. And then you look and go, but that's just got no semblance to reality at all. And that's where there's a problem. And that's where there's a big problem with knife defence, is because the defences that they do just don't replicate reality. I've stopped teaching knife defence, and that in itself is contentious. Hear me out. When we teach reality-based stuff, and I do teach reality-based stuff as well, you need to look at what violence looks like. You need to look at the statistics. You need to look at reality. And we're all going to be influenced by the current situation with regards violence and the culture that we're in. And where we are in the world is going to differ, and where we are even in a given country is going to differ. My perspective, which is as valid as anybody else's, might be different, but it's as valid. My perspective is from the perspective of working in emergency care. Now, in that respect, I treat the perpetrators and the victims of assaults, and it has given me an interesting insight into violence. Do I see, or have I treated knife attacks? Yes, but not very many. Edged weapon attacks, that's another matter. Now, by that, I'm talking about heels, as in ladies' stilettos. I'm talking about a wristwatch being turned around, metal wristwatch used as a knuckle duster. I'm talking about knuckle dusters. Bottles, so glass, that's the kind of thing I mean. So that's what I mean. I'm not teaching knife defence anymore, not really. I am teaching edged weapon defence, important distinction. So as part of that, I've been working on a little project. Some of the assaults that I've treated have been through needles, okay? So people threatening with or using a syringe with a needle on the end that the perpetrator may or may not claim is contaminated. And this is the story. I have a bloodborne disease. I have hepatitis, I have HIV, whatever it may be. And this is a used needle. And this is the threat that the victim gets. And then we have to treat the outcome of that. So to me, with that in mind, using wooden knives or foam knives or rubber knives, it's not quite doing the job. It's not replicating reality as I see it. Not entirely, they've got their place. So this is what I've been working on. So what these are syringes. These are genuine, real medical syringes. I've got a 10mm syringe, I've got a 2.5mm syringe, and a 1mm syringe, the sort of thing we might use for insulin. Now, needless to say, we can't actually have live needles in class, strangely enough. So what I've actually done, these are pipe cleaners. So they are, if I get one of these, they're flexible. Okay, they're not going to hurt anybody. They're in the colours of real needles. Okay, so you get green barrel needles that are big and orange barrel needles that are much smaller. So these are, I think, pretty close to reality, or at least, as close as you can safely get. So in class in future, when we come to do edged weapon defence, yes, we're going to use our training knives. And we've actually got a rubber training bottle. But we're also going to be training with these. Firstly, it replicates reality, and I think it's a whole different level of psychology involved. It's one thing to believe you can defend yourself against a knife, and big question marks on that. But when you're being told this needle is contaminated with this disease, it's going to change your mindset. Your belief in your ability to defend yourself is going to change. And we need to account for that. So in future, this is going to be amongst our repertoire of training aids when we're doing the reality-based stuff. My next project, and we get to work out how to do it, we need a stiletto. I need to work out how we can have stiletto attacks in class whilst still being safe, what I can do to make the heel part safe. Because we can't end up in A&E every week. I'm not here to teach this technique on the video. I just want to give you my perspective, because again, I feel that it's a perspective that's not been heard before. For those of you who've made it through this far, thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the dojo. And by the way, I hope you never need any of this stuff. Okay? Happy days.